The campus moved here in the mid-1960s from Pottsville on land that was donated by the county, which had been part of the county Almshouse, or poor farm as it was called at one time. And that was a residence for people who could not support themselves, also for, similar to the nursing home facility now, people who were unable to live on their own, or also for the mentally challenged.
Were there any ever orphans here?
Yes.
There was orphans?
Orphans as well, yes.
Right.
Basically, anybody who didn't have a way to support themselves in society. So there were a lot of different things going on, and they were expected to, those who were able, it was a working farm, so they were working the farm, they were working for their support.
Where was the farm fields located?
The farm fields were in the general area of the campus, as well as across the highway over towards Schuylkill Haven. I believe it was quite a large farm at one point.
Now what buildings are still here today that were there back then when it was the Almshouse?
Okay. The present administration building, the A building, and classroom building, C building, as well as the chancellor's office, the Kiefer Jones building, were part of the buildings that were here when Penn State received the land from the county. There were also quite a number of other buildings between A and C building along the walkway here that were torn down.
What about, so there are rumors there is still a crematory on our campus grounds.
There are rumors. I've seen the strange little door in the cement wall. I don't know what it's for, and I don't know if that's true. And there are also rumors that the lower level of C building, which is now the Kotler Computer Center, was at one time the morgue. Don't know for sure about that either.
It was, I'd say maybe the first year or two within I started here. I just came back from lunch. It was maybe 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I went back to my janitorial closet. I used to clean the main floor of the C building, and I looked down toward the conference center, and I seen somebody peeking around the corner. So I just, you're not supposed to be in here. All the doors were locked. I did verify that. So I went down to confront this person, and there was nobody there. I heard no doors slamming, no nothing. You know how noisy it is there, in front of the conference room, all these doors, nothing. I didn't hear no noise, no sign of anybody, nothing. So, like I said, I don't know if I'm just nuts or,
Well, that 1912 building was pretty eerie up there. It wasn't being used for quite a while, and we were in it a few times, the maintenance department, and you'd be walking through the hallways and you'd see a mist, like a haze up ahead of you, and by the time you got up there, it would disappear, and you turn around, look behind you, down the hallway, it was back there.
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable. I mean, then if you'd go back, you'd turn around, look, it was up here then. It was out ahead of you. It was quite a sight. It's hard to believe. I don't know if it was just something with the lighting or whatever, because there was no lights. Everything was vacant building.
It was my freshman year. I lived in the first apartment of my dorm, and there's a middle door in between like the kitchen area, living room, and like the vanity area, bathroom, bedrooms. And I was sitting in my apartment just by myself, and it open, close, just nobody coming back and forth.
I came back from doing something late at night, and my roommate came up, and he was like, "Were you in the room at all?" And I was like, "No, why?" So he heard slamming from the walls in my room, so he thought I was like banging on the wall. And then he went into my room, and no one was in there. So he just heard like banging on the walls, and he thought it was me, but it wasn't because I was out. So that's crazy.
And what about the skulls that I've been hearing? Is that
Okay, so if you go on the bottom floor, on the stairs, like the stairs underneath it, they have these two skulls that you can always see. And people say they've always tried to like paint over it, but they always come back like every year, which is cool. I didn't believe it, and then you actually go and see it, and it's like ridiculous.
What I've experienced was I was on a unit and I was in a room, and all of a sudden I smelled strawberries just out of the blue. And it was at there were no strawberries and no scent or anything. It was late at night. And a couple nights later, I think I smelled the same thing in the elevator. All of a sudden you just got a whiff of something. So those kinds of things I've experienced. Many things have, our phone systems would go, our call bell systems would go crazy, and we always said it was the gremlins. We always said there has to be some kind of things always causing chaos, It would just seem like things would.
Now, have you heard any stories of Mary?
Oh yeah, Mary, Nurse Mary Troutman.
What?
The one. Mm-hmm.
What could you tell us about that?
Well, I know we did have a picture of her in our lobby. She worked here, and I guess back in the very early 1900s, the 1912 building, so she probably was around that time. I think it might be 1919. She supposedly hung herself. And a lot of people would look up at the old building, and they would look in the window, and they would think they saw Nurse Troutman.